Now I know what you must be thinking. Neomas, where have you been? Where have you been? We get slapped by Tottenham and I disappear. And there's a reason for that. I recorded that last video several times and I just I couldn't upload it. I was too disappointed. But after seeing today's game against Liverpool, Arsenal have reinvigorated me in terms of my passion, in terms of my support. And I can honestly say a really good, dogged defensive performance from the Arsenal. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 1. And it was a win that I wasn't expecting out of nowhere. It was a game that I thought we wasn't really going to lose. I thought the Spurs game would have been the one that we got the 2-1 win. And I think at the very least, we should have gotten something out of the Spurs game. And one might say, you know what? If we had won against Spurs, then we would have been further up the table. But I see it as this. On the balance of things, this is just what happens. This is the nature of football. And there's nothing more that you can do about it. But to be honest, it was a surprise. But I don't know if it should be a surprise because when you look at the real context of both teams, Liverpool, they've won the league now, and they don't really need to do much. I mean, they're on holiday. They don't need to do anything. So I think it was a mixture of them not quite giving 100%. Maybe they were on 70% or 75%, but they were just missing that real killer edge on, that they really had before. So next season will be a kind of a different animal. But you know what? I'll take the 3 points because now with us getting the 3 points, it puts us back in the driver's seat to getting European football. And I mean just European football. I'm not talking about Champions League. I'm also talking about Europa League as well. I personally believe that Arsenal right now, we are not in the position and we're not good enough to get Champions League football. So let's get Europa League football. Let's get that opportunity to get back into the Champions League that way. But let's talk about some of the good points about the game. Now, I do have to say, there's really only two players that I want to talk about. Normally, I do kind of match ratings, but those videos take too long. So I'm going to talk about two players in particular that were my standout players. And firstly, I got to talk about a player who I always give props for, and his name is Reis Nelson. Now, Reis Nelson has been at Arsenal for quite a while now. We saw his debut under Wenger, and I was instantly impressed by the guy. His dribbling ability, I thought was really good. His confidence on the ball at the time when I first saw him, I thought was amazing. And, he just oozed talented player in there. And I was really glad when he signed on to a new contract. I think it was about 3 years ago now. About 3 years ago now. And since then, he's gone on loan at Hoffenheim and he's done okay. And this season, I've been quite worried about him. But in today's game, I think he followed the manager's instructions, which was to press from the front. And I think he did that very well. And what it meant was that the first goal, he put enough pressure on Van Dijk to cause Van Dijk to make a mistake, which led to Lacazette scoring the goal. Then for Reis Nelson's first goal, and his first goal in the Premier League for Arsenal, him to be able to get the ball as he did and confidently score the goal as he did, even though he didn't really show a lot of excitement. And for me, I know people were saying that he was really subdued, but I think that that's probably to do with the pressure of playing for Arsenal. I think this is the type of game where he should praise himself, because I think that, he hasn't had it easy. He hasn't had many games. And to be honest, for his development, he needs games. He needs those games to develop into a better player, to develop into the player that I believe that he can be. And you know what? Even though it wasn't the best Reis Nelson performance in terms of his ability to beat players and pass the ball and cross the ball very well, it wasn't that kind of Reis Nelson's performance. It was a simple performance, a performance where he followed instructions, and a performance where he got a goal. So how can you really criticize that? So for me, if I was going to give him a score, I would give him a score of an 8, probably like a 7 for his performance and a bonus mark just in relation to his age, to the fact that everything that's going on around and how his season has panned out. You've got to give him an extra mark for that. So for me, well done, Reis Nelson. I think you've done a really good job. And I just hope that you could continue along this run. Who knows? You know, he might actually get a chance in the game against Man City on Saturday, which unfortunately I will not be covering. This weekend is just a bad weekend for me in terms of games. I've got some personal things I need to sort out, but I'll be looking at the scores and probably having some opinions later on in the week, later on next week. And then finally, I need to talk about Lacazette. Now, I've been calling him Laca threat for the past 5 games, but he's been none of that. I mean, he's been really good, and today was probably one of his really good games. You know, he pressed from the front, he worked hard, he tracked back, he tried to get misplaced balls. I mean, the Reis Nelson goal came from him winning the ball in a wide area and crossing it into Reis. His determination to win the ball, his cross to Reis Nelson, you got to give him the points for that. I mean, I'm going to give him a 9 out of this game. I thought he was our best player by far within the game. And obviously that first goal setting us up for success and setting us up for the win helps to breed confidence throughout the team. And I thought that he played very well to be able to do that. And then his first goal, obviously I kind of touched on it before, kept coming from Reis Nelson putting pressure on Virgil van Dijk. And then he kind of capitalizing on Alisson's mistake and Van Dijk's issue with Reis to be able to slot that one away. And that's what you want from strikers. If your strikers are scoring goals, can't be complaining about them. And I think besides that, he did work hard throughout the game. And I have no other criticisms for Lacazette. My only thing is keep it up. Let's see what you could do, because I think right now he is playing for, you know, a new contract. Let's see what everything happens with Aubameyang. I mean, I just heard earlier on today that the transfer window is open on the 27th of July. So that is not this coming Monday, but the Monday afterwards, where things are going to be interesting. And the transfer window will go to October 1st. So there are lots of things to consider, and you just have to hope that we just address all of the weaknesses on our squad. And finally, just a few kind of honorable mentions in the game. So for me, Lucas Torreira, he started the game in this game today. I thought he had some really good tackles and interceptions throughout the game. Still looks like he's adapting back, but you know, he had a really serious injury before, but I thought he did pretty well. David Luiz as well, I thought had a really good game, again being kind of key to intercepting the ball, being really good level head in the game. Mustafi didn't start, but Rob Holding started as well. And interesting enough, in the first half he had some interesting altercations between Sadio Mane, which I thought was pretty funny. Was almost acting as like a hard man, and you know, Mane just kind of laughing it off like, yeah, well, whatever. I thought that was interesting. And then, one final thing. Trent Alexander-Arnold makes a foul on Saka, I believe, in the second half, which was similar to the foul on Nketiah. Nketiah gets a red, and Arnold gets a yellow. Explain to me why he isn't getting a red. Leave your comments below, because I don't get that. And the only reason why I even see him on the difference between the two is that VAR decided that they didn't want to look at Trent Alexander's foul on Saka anymore, when they should have looked at it as well, because that was a dangerous tackle. He clearly got him, and all he had to do was I don't know, maybe Saka should have sold it a lot more to make it seem like he was in pain. But, you know, again, another disappointing performance from VAR, because I think they should have spotted that. I know I shouldn't be complaining because Arsenal got the win, but nevertheless, overall good performance. Let's see what we could do around City. I'm not confident. I am going for a 3-0 City win, but who knows, miracles could happen. But leave your comments below. and I'll see you all next time. Peace.